Princess Anne has always been known as the monarchy's anchor, the quietly resilient force who understands the survival of the crown better than anyone else. But behind the closed doors of the palace, she has reportedly issued a cutting, unprecedented warning directly to her nephew, Prince William. Her message was simple but carried massive weight. Do not make enemies. Right now, swirling rumors are painting a deeply concerning picture of the current state of affairs between William and his father, King Charles. The two most senior men in the British royal family are said to be drifting apart at an alarming rate. For Princess Anne, this is not just a passing phase of family friction. She is deeply concerned that this growing chasm between the king and the Prince of Wales could ultimately destabilize the monarchy itself. She has seen firsthand how internal divisions can crack the very foundation of the institution. And she fears that if William allows this distance to grow, his own future reign will be just as turbulent, unpredictable, and fraught with conflict as his father's current rule has proven to be. King Charles has faced an incredibly difficult start to his time on the throne. Between navigating his own health crises, managing a country in economic transition, and dealing with unending public scrutiny, his reign has been anything but the smooth twilight he might have envisioned. Princess Anne recognizes that William is observing all of this, perhaps forming his own rigid ideas about how a monarch should behave, who should be trusted, and how ruthlessly the family should be managed. But Anne's warning to not make enemies is a direct plea for William to soften his approach, particularly toward his father. A fractured relationship between the sovereign and the heir apparent is dangerous. Historically, when the reigning monarch and the future king are at odds, it creates factions within the palace. Courtiers take sides, leaks to the press become more frequent, and the united front that the public expects completely disintegrates. Anne is desperately trying to prevent William from isolating himself in an ivory tower of his own making, reminding him that he needs his father. This alarming warning from the Princess Royal sets the stage for several dramatic twists that are currently unfolding behind palace walls, hidden from the public eye. The tension between William and Charles is not just a simple father-son disagreement over royal duties or differing generational values. The first major twist in this unfolding drama reveals the hidden catalysts driving the rift between them. External family feuds are actively and aggressively tearing them apart. It is a complex web of loyalty, betrayal, and deeply entrenched resentment that goes far beyond the two men themselves. Reports heavily suggest that the ongoing bitter tensions involving Queen Camilla on one side and Prince Harry and Meghan Markle on the other have severely aggravated and complicated the relationship between the king and his heir. To understand this, we have to look at the immense pressure King Charles is under to keep the peace among the people he loves most, a task that is proven to be entirely impossible. Queen Camilla is his rock and his ultimate confidant. He demands that she be treated with the utmost respect by every member of the family. However, the shadow of Prince Harry and Meghan Markle looms large over everything the royals do. Harry's public attacks on Camilla, branding her as a villain who left bodies in the street to rehabilitate her own image, deeply wounded the king. But it also put Prince William in a nearly impossible position. While William and Harry are completely estranged, and William remains fiercely protective of his own wife and children against the Sussexes' attacks, his alliance with Queen Camilla has always been one of necessity, rather than deep, unconditional affection. When Charles attempts to navigate the fallout from the Sussexes, or when whispers emerge that the king might be softening toward his youngest son, it reportedly sends shockwaves of anger through William. William has drawn a hard line in the sand regarding his brother. He views Harry and Meghan as an existential threat to the monarchy. If Charles even entertains the idea of an olive branch, or if Camilla exerts her influence in ways that William feels undermine his own authority as the future king, the friction between father and son ignites. The king is caught in the middle of a generational war. He is trying to balance the demands of his wife, the unforgiving rigidity of his eldest son, and the unpredictable nature of his youngest son across the ocean. For William, the presence of these external feuds only reinforces his belief that he must rule with an iron fist. He sees the emotional turmoil caused by Harry and Meghan, and he sees the complex public relations nightmare surrounding Camilla, and his instinct is to shut down, build walls, and adopt a zero-tolerance policy. But this is exactly what Princess Anne is warning him against. By viewing every disagreement as a battle line, and treating anyone who doesn't align perfectly with his vision as an enemy, William is inadvertently pushing away the one person he needs to be completely in sync with right now. The collateral damage of the Camilla versus Sussexes war is the destruction of the bond between the king and the Prince of Wales. Every time the palace has to strategize a response to a new controversy, William and Charles find themselves on opposite sides of the war room, drifting further apart with every new crisis. This instinct to build walls and treat the outside world as a threat does not just stop at the king's door. The war room mentality that has defined William's recent interactions with his father has deeply bled into his own household, leading us directly into the second, highly concerning twist in this royal saga. We are now seeing an unexpected and unprecedented level of domestic isolation from the Prince and Princess of Wales, prompting a secret family mission spearheaded by none other than Princess Anne herself. William and Kate Middleton have become incredibly guarded lately. They have pulled up the drawbridge to Adelaide Cottage, creating a fortress around themselves and their 3 children, Prince George, Princess Charlotte, and Prince Louis. While some of this fierce protection is completely understandable given the intense personal challenges and health battles the Princess of Wales has faced recently, the level of secrecy has reached a point that is setting off alarm bells for the older generation of royals. The couple has become so closed off that they are maintaining strict boundaries even around Princess Anne. For Anne, who has spent her entire life observing the psychological toll that the crown takes on those who wear it, this is a very dangerous game. She knows that the royal family only survives when it operates as a united, cohesive unit. When individual members retreat too far into the shadows, paranoia sets in, communication breaks down, and the family structure weakens from the inside out. Anne is reportedly desperate to maintain the family unit, driven by a deep-seated fear that Princess Kate and the children are being increasingly isolated from the rest of the Windsor clan. She remembers all too well the historical precedents of royal isolation. She watched her own brother, King Charles, suffer from profound loneliness during his early years, and she saw the devastating consequences when Princess Diana felt completely cut off from the royal support system. Anne is determined not to let history repeat itself with the future king and his family. She understands William's overwhelming desire to protect his wife from the ravenous public eye and the endless stream of palace gossip, but she firmly believes that cutting off the extended family is not the solution. It is a defense mechanism that threatens to leave the Prince and Princess of Wales entirely on an island, without the crucial emotional support and institutional guidance they need right now. However, because William and Kate have become so impenetrable, directly approaching them has proven to be incredibly difficult, even for a senior royal as respected as the Princess Royal. Direct intervention from Anne might be viewed by a highly defensive William as an intrusion or a lecture, which would only cause him to raise his walls even higher. Recognizing this delicate dynamic, Anne has executed a brilliant, quiet maneuver. She has roped in her daughter, Zara Tyndall, and Zara's husband, Mike, giving them a very specific, secret assignment. Their mission is simple but vital. Keep an eye on the couple. Zara and Mike Tyndall are the absolute perfect candidates for this incredibly sensitive task. Unlike the working royals who are constantly bound by protocol, duty, and the rigid hierarchy of the institution, Zara and Mike occupy a unique space within the family. They are beloved, trusted, and most importantly, they bring a sense of normalcy, warmth, and grounded reality to a family that is so often suffocated by its own traditions. William has always shared an incredibly close, almost sibling-like bond with his cousin Zara. She is fiercely loyal, entirely discreet, and completely unbothered by the heavy crown that William is destined to wear. When William and Kate are around Zara and Mike, the tension visibly dissipates. They can just be themselves, a husband and wife, a mother and father, without the crushing weight of the monarchy bearing down on them. Princess Anne knows exactly what she is doing by utilizing the Tyndalls. She is essentially sending in a Trojan horse of love and support. Zara and Mike are not there to spy or to report back on royal strategy. They are there to ensure that the emotional well-being of the Wales family remains intact. By spending casual time with them, organizing low-key playdates with the children, and offering a listening ear that is entirely removed from palace politics, Zara and Mike are providing a crucial lifeline to the outside world. They are the tether keeping William and Kate connected to the broader family network. Anne's secret mission is a testament to her profound understanding of family dynamics. She recognizes that William cannot be lectured into lowering his defenses, but he can be loved into it by the cousins he trusts implicitly. Yet, even as Princess Anne quietly works behind the scenes to mend the internal fractures within the family and keep her nephew from self-isolating, she has found herself dragged into a completely separate, highly publicized battle of her own. Her dedication to duty and her relentless work ethic are legendary, but her patience has a breaking point. While she is carefully managing the delicate situation between William, Charles, and Kate, she is also dealing with an external provocation that has left her absolutely furious, setting up a massive international clash that nobody saw coming. This brings us to the final, jaw-dropping twist in our story. While Princess Anne is doing everything in her power to keep the core working royals united and sane, she is simultaneously dealing with a situation that asks the question, did Prince Harry purposefully sabotage the Princess Royal? This final twist centers on a bitter clash of international schedules that has left Princess Anne absolutely furious. For decades, Anne has been the hardest working member of the royal family. She quietly carries out hundreds of engagements a year, shunning the glamorous spotlight in favor of unglamorous duty. She never demands front-page coverage, but she does expect the fundamental respect that comes with representing the crown globally. Diplomatic trips are meticulously planned months in advance to maximize impact and project British soft power. So when Anne embarked on a highly important official royal trip to South Korea, Korea, the expectation was that the media focus would rightfully be on her crucial work. Instead, she found her entire tour completely upstaged by her nephew. In what Anne firmly believes was a highly calculated move, Harry announced that his Invictus Games would be held in the exact same country. The timing of the announcement was staggering. The Invictus Games is undeniably a noble initiative, and Harry rightly receives global praise for it. However, in the world of royal public relations, there is a golden, unwritten rule that you do not step on the toes of another senior royal's official tour. You do not release bombshell news when another family member is on an international deployment, because it instantly splits the media's attention. By dropping the massive news about the Invictus Games heading to South Korea at the exact moment his aunt was touring the country, Harry hijacked the narrative. Overnight, headlines shifted away from the Princess Royal's diplomatic meetings, pivoting entirely to Prince Harry and his upcoming sporting event. Princess Anne does not view this as a mere coincidence. She is reportedly angry, believing that this scheduling clash was an intentional slight. Anne operates with military precision. She knows that public relations teams coordinate global announcements meticulously. In her eyes, there is absolutely no way Harry and his communications team were unaware of her highly publicized itinerary. She is convinced that Harry must know exactly what he is doing. He grew up in this institution. He knows the rules of engagement and the royal calendar better than almost anyone. The sheer blatant nature of the overlap is what has infuriated the Princess Royal so deeply. She feels that Harry could have easily waited at least a week to make the announcement. Delaying the press release by just 7 days would have allowed Anne to conclude her tour with dignity, securing the necessary diplomatic wins for the crown before yielding the media cycle to the Invictus Games. Instead, the shadow of the Sussexes eclipsed her hard work, and Anne wasted no time escalating the issue. She has already expressed her profound anger directly to King Charles. For the king, this is yet another massive headache and a glaring example of his inability to control the fallout from his youngest son's departure. Anne's confrontation with Charles brings our entire story full circle. When Anne went to the king to demand answers about why Harry is allowed to continually disrupt the working royals, she held up a mirror to the exact problem Prince William has been warning about. William's rigid boundaries and his refusal to reconcile with his brother are rooted in this exact behavior. William sees Harry as a rogue operator who will eagerly sabotage the family's work, and now Princess Anne has experienced that sabotage firsthand on a global scale. This validates William's defensive posture, but it also perfectly illustrates why Anne's initial warning to William is so complex. She is telling William not to make enemies of his allies, while simultaneously dealing with an adversary in Harry who seems intent on making their jobs impossible. The royal family is caught in a deeply toxic web of internal isolation and external sabotage. Will King Charles establish firm boundaries to protect his working royals? Or will his passive approach continue to drive his eldest son away? Can Zara and Mike Tyndall successfully pull William and Kate out of their fortress? Or is the future of the monarchy destined to be fractured? The survival of the Windsor dynasty hangs in the balance as these behind-the-scenes battles rage on. What do you think about Princess Anne's warning, her secret mission with Zara, and Harry's calculated announcement? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you want to stay completely up to date with the latest hidden royal truths, make sure to hit that subscribe button and like this video so you never miss an update.